The dark side of human motivation. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have endless drive, while others struggle just to get out of bed? Why do some crush their goals, while others fall into a cycle of procrastination and self-doubt? The truth is, motivation is a powerful force, but there's a dark side to it that we rarely talk about, a side that could be the reason you're not achieving what you want. Let me ask you something. Have you ever pushed yourself too hard, worked tirelessly toward something, only to realize it was never what you truly wanted in the first place? Ever. Wonder why some people run after success like their lives depend on it, while others seem to glide through life, effortlessly achieving their dreams? Here's the secret. It's not about willpower or determination alone. It's something deeper, something darker. And today I'm going to show you how that darkness might be the key to unlocking your potential, if you can control it. But first, let's talk about what motivates us. Think about it. Every day, you make decisions based on your motivation. Whether it's getting out of bed, going to the gym, or working late into the night on your project, motivation is what fuels action. We've all heard about the good motivation, the kind that pushes you to be your best, the kind that leads to progress and happiness. But there's another side, a side we rarely acknowledge. The dark side of motivation is driven by fear, insecurity, and self-doubt. It's the voice inside that says you're not good enough. It's the anger that fuels you to prove someone wrong. It's the need to be validated, to be seen, to be heard. And here's the kicker. Most people are completely unaware of how this works in their own lives. You think you're motivated by success, right? But deep down, it's fear of failure that's pushing you forward. It's that gnawing feeling that if you don't succeed, you'll be nothing. It's that terror of being forgotten, ignored, or left behind. Motivation isn't always pure. Sometimes it's born from a place of scarcity, a place where you feel like you don't have enough love, enough money, enough recognition. And so, you push harder, burn yourself out, and still feel empty. Sound familiar? Think about it. How many times have you heard someone say, "I'll show them," or "I'll prove I'm worth it"? That is the essence of the dark side of motivation. Proving something to others and, in turn, proving something to yourself. You work yourself to exhaustion, seeking validation, chasing the approval of others. But here's the real question. Are you truly doing this for yourself, or are you doing it to fill the void inside? You know what's crazy? Most successful people you admire, the ones with the million-dollar companies, the fame, the power, they're often driven by the same thing, fear. Fear of losing everything, fear of not being enough. And while it pushes them to achieve remarkable things, it also leaves them feeling hollow. Does that sound like success to you? This is where it gets even darker, because this drive, rooted in fear and insecurity, can lead to toxic behaviors. You see, when motivation is based on these negative emotions, it often results in burnout, anxiety, and even self-destruction. You push harder, but the more you achieve, the emptier you feel. So you push more, and the cycle continues. It's a trap. But here's the twist. You might think that motivation driven by fear is bad, right? But what if I told you it's also the thing that can set you free? Here's why. If you can learn to harness that fear, that insecurity, and turn it into something positive, something you can control, it can push you to heights you never thought possible. You see, fear doesn't have to control you. It can be your ally. It's about shifting your perspective. Instead of letting fear control your actions, use it to fuel your purpose. Instead of chasing external validation, ask yourself, what would you do if you weren't afraid? What would you do if the only thing that mattered was your own growth? What would you do if you could stop trying to prove something to everyone and just focus on being the best version of yourself? This is where true power lies, in mastering the dark side of motivation. By acknowledging it, confronting it, and using it as a tool for transformation, rather than letting it consume you. And here's the catch. You're not going to find this kind of clarity in a book or a seminar. You'll find it by digging deep within yourself, by questioning your beliefs, your fears, and your desires. It's an uncomfortable process, but it's the only way to break free from the endless cycle of self-doubt and external validation. Let me give you an example. There's a famous story about Steve Jobs. You probably know that Jobs was driven by an intense desire to revolutionize the world. But what most people don't know is that he was also driven by the fear of being insignificant, the fear that his life wouldn't matter. That's why he worked tirelessly, pushed his employees, and created a company that would change the world. His motivation wasn't just about success, it was about proving something to himself and to others. But in the process, he created something extraordinary. Now, I'm not saying you need to be a billionaire to succeed, but think about your own life. What's your motivation? Is it pure? Or is there a darker side to it? Something you're not even aware of yet? Is your drive fueled by the need for recognition, the fear of failure, the desire to prove something to the world? Or is it about creating something that truly matters to you? Here's the thing. It doesn't matter where your motivation comes from, as long as you're aware of it. Because once you're aware, you can take control. You can turn your fear into fuel, your insecurity into strength, and your doubt into determination. But it all starts with awareness. And if you're still here, listening, you're already one step ahead. It's time to take a good, hard look at the dark side of your motivation. What's driving you? And more importantly, are you using it to fuel your growth, or is it using you to burn yourself out? You have the power to change your story, to stop letting fear and insecurity dictate your future, to turn your darkest impulses into your greatest strengths. So what are you going to do with this newfound knowledge? Will you continue down the same path driven by fear and self-doubt? Or will you take control, harness your motivation, and create the life you've always dreamed of? The choice is yours. But remember, if you're not aware of the dark side of motivation, it will continue to control you. It's time to step into the light and transform that darkness into something powerful. Are you ready? Let's begin.